Welcome to the Climb Your Everest podcast, a platform where we delve into the incredible stories of women who have triumphed over their personal challenges and are making a profound impact on the world. I'm your host, Sarah Safari, and I'm honored to be the founder of Climb Your Everest, a nonprofit organization passionately committed to offering education and empowerment opportunities to marginalized women, enabling them to unleash their true potential. Joining me as a co-host on this exciting journey is Avi. Together, we are on a mission to bring you inspiring narratives that will uplift your spirit, ignite your passion, and motivate you to climb your own Everest.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Avi.
So in the previous episode, you talked about the earthquake on Everest and what happened to the girls, some of the devastation and how that impacted you, and you found the mission of your life and started fundraising. So let's talk about when you went back to Nepal after the earthquake. How long did you stay in the US? When did you go back? What was the situation? Just kind of take us through your journey and put us in that moment in time.
So first, when I met the founder of organization Empower Nepali Girls, and I decided to climb Everest to raise funds and awareness for the girls who become victims of human trafficking or are forced to get married at a very young age, they invited me to a trip to go to Nepal to meet the girls. And it was, the way they organized it was amazing, because we would go to Nepal, meet the girls, go to their homes, go to their schools, have different events with them, do dancing, meet their families. It was just such a beautiful trip put together back then, like 10 years ago. And I met these women and for the first time, and then I was climbing Everest, which kind of, it gave me so much motivation because I had their pictures in my mind. So on the difficult days, I could just imagine these beautiful faces, and that would move and inspire me, who want to climb even more and push myself out of my comfort zone. And so when the earthquake happened, and I was traumatized for a while, and I kind of was scared of going back, and I scared of mountains, everything. The Empower Nepali Girls organization, they decided to do another trip. And I was first hesitating. I wasn't sure if I want to do it or not, but I'm like, I tell everyone to push themselves out of their comfort zone. I cannot be the one who is scared and not doing anything. So I went back to Nepal. It was a year after. And there were still a lot of homes and schools that they were not built. And I spent the whole year fundraising a lot. Like, I went from libraries to churches to REI to any companies that you can think of around me here in California, who they allowed me an hour to speak to their employees about the devastation in Nepal and the mission statement of Empower Nepali Girls, and how important it is to send these girls back to school. Because you know, when a devastating thing, a disaster happen in any country, the human traffickers, they use this as an opportunity to do even more, kind of recruit more women, because, this in patriarchal societies, in societies that women are being discriminated, it is not priority for the women to continue their education, right? So of course, when a devastation happens, when there's a natural disaster from flood or earthquake or avalanche, or any of these, then that's the time that their families are like, they are struggling to provide. And that's the time that is the easiest for the human traffickers to go to their families and say, well, we're going to take your daughter to the city to work in a restaurant and make money for you. But what really happens is that the girls end up in brothels, and they get raped, and they get diseases, And even if they survive and somehow go back to their families and their hopes, they are either pregnant, they have diseases, they nobody wants to get married to them because they kind of know what happened to these girls. And so when I went back to Nepal after the earthquake, I was really worried for the girls. I wasn't sure that if they could survive this whole past year, because we were kind of very busy fundraising ourselves in here in the West to be able to take back the money to the East. And but we were very successful. We raised a lot of money, and we went back and we built back everything. And that became sort of my annual trip. So I started doing it with Empower Nepali Girls every year, going back to Nepal, visiting the girls, visiting their families, visiting their schools, and seeing the progress of the girls and how they are doing, if they are continuing their education, see like if the families are still supportive of them continuing their education. So it became like a routine, like a trip, my annual trip that I always look forward to. And it became just this beautiful thing. And I started taking friends and family with me to see the work, especially donors who wanted to see it for themselves. That became our thing. And so when I started Climb Your Everest nonprofit organization in 2021, I continued keeping this as a routine trip to Nepal, because I really think it's very beautiful for people to have the opportunity to do volunteership, to be able to be part of this program and this progress of the girls and meet them and inspire them. And so it's kind of became this beautiful thing that we all do together every year.
Can you share a story of one of your visits to one of their homes? Like, what did you observe? I kind of want to go and experience it through your words. Like, what are their challenges? How does it look like? How does life look like for some of these girls and women?
Mm-hmm. Well, I post a lot of videos and pictures of all my trips in social media and Climb Your Everest YouTube channel. So like to imagine it, I think the best thing for the audience would be our listeners to kind of go and check out our YouTube channel or any social media that we have. But basically, like I can think of many stories of this beautiful.
Okay, so maybe I ask a question to make this at least for myself a little bit more clear. So I remember, I think it was the FIFA that I heard something about, the laborers that are sent from these regions to help in other countries in the Middle East. And, sometimes the work situation isn't that great, and whether those people come back to their families or whatnot is questionable. And, these women and girls are left without a provider. So then what happens to these girls, and how education is important for them so they can provide for themselves and not be dependent on someone who may never come back?
Yeah, exactly. So like I remember visiting one of the homes of one of the girls, and they were like two little ones, like 4 or 5 years old, and their mom was 20. And I asked her, like, where is your husband? And she's like, I don't know. He's been missing for the past 3 years and I have no idea. And then from here and there, like other neighbors and other people, I kind of didn't want to ask her more. So I heard that her husband went to a country to work, the Middle East, to kind of work as a labor, and he never returned back. And yes, as you mentioned, there was a news. I mean, it's been kind of a news, but then during FIFA, it came out where like a lot of people who go to Middle Eastern countries to work, their conditions are really bad. They don't treat them well, and they have to sacrifice a lot because that's the only way they can make money for their family, and sometimes they never come back home. And so same thing, so this young woman, like 20-year-old woman with two little kids, she didn't have any skills to work, and kind of that became my inspiration to start Climb Your Everest, because I could see these women, if they learn certain skills like communication skills, financial literacy, they be more confident, if they can do more critical thinking, if they can kind of learn basic skills to be able to go get a simple job, work on their resume, then she could provide for herself. And then eventually when she's educated, when she can provide, when she's empowered, she's gonna be bringing up empowered kids who are continuing their education. And so, I mean, I have stories similar to this, and where, you know, these two little girls, they were planning, if it was not because of the education we provided for them, these two girls would just go to either go to school or not. And we kind of provided education for these little kids. And now it's actually, they're much older. They're like 10 years old and 11 years old. They're just these beautiful kids that I've seen them recently. And they received a scholarship. I've known them in the past 10 years. They're attending school, and even though their background is that they're coming from these families that they could never ever get any support, but fortunately now they're continuing their education, and hopefully they will continue on and become something like a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, a nurse, something that they could never ever imagine, and they can help their mom to have a better life.
So that's pretty amazing that you're seeing these girls, and you've seen them over the past, you know, couple of years or maybe even a decade, and how the work that is done through these nonprofit organizations is supporting them to get education, to have a better life, to be more independent. And, you know, really through Climb Your Everest, you are also teaching them more skills that they can not just learn themselves, but take it and teach others, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the mission in Climb Your Everest, where like when the women, so in Climb Your Everest, women who are participating in the programs, they are 18 and above. So basically empower Nepali girls, provide education for them, even provide further education if they want to go do their bachelor's and master's. Empower Nepali girls, do that. And then what I really like to be able to kind of be the side program where they can learn different leadership skills to be able to take their life to the next level, get better jobs, to can provide for themselves and their families, and so that their families see how valuable these girls are. I mean, to be honest, the girls are valuable no matter what they do or they don't. But in the scenario that we are living, that they are living, I really think it is very important for them to thrive and have a better life, is that to have a skill. And they become mentors for the next generation of the women who coming into the program. So since Climb Your Everest is a new nonprofit organization, we just were founded in 2021. So the first cohort of women finished their 6 months program, so that a new cohort is coming in, and they are kind of in the middle of their 6 months program. So when I go back to Nepal again next time, there's going to be the graduation of the second group, and they're going to be the future mentors of the third cohort who are coming in, and kind of they're going to be teaching all these skills that they are learning to their kids and other women in their village, and neighbors, aunts and uncles and people around them. So this kind of, it's like a butterfly effect where everybody can benefit from them. And these women became the source of education, the role model in the family as a person who learned something, who are using these skills to be able to make their life better and making other people's life better. And
Yes.
hopefully,
Mhm.
yeah, this
So it's
way we can expand it.
yes. So it's kind of that ripple effect, train the trainer type of a thing.
Exactly.
And I just want to mention one thing. I know we are focusing a lot on Nepal just because, that's
Mhm.
where it all started, and Empower Nepali Girl is there. But Climb Your Everest is beyond Nepal. I mean, Nepal is just one country that you
Yeah.
support, but you also support women in India and other parts of the world. Is
Yes.
that right?
Exactly. Like the goal, I mean, the heart where we started from was Nepal because I've been working there for the past 10 years and I have a lot of connections. But of course, my goal is to be able to expand it in many cities and many countries and many communities all over the world. And yes, and right now we are active in a few countries, but kind of all the examples are coming from Nepal and everything because I've been working there for such a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to mention, like, these girls and these women are living their living condition are sometimes it's challenging, right? Like it's cold or it's hot or maybe there's no water or there's no power. So really they're in these cramped spaces and they have to study. And even with those conditions, they're still so resilient and they strive to do the best that they can to get the education, and
Yeah.
they're so inspired and they're so motivated, right?
Yeah.
I've sat on a couple of the calls and been part of some of these workshops with you, and
Yeah.
it's amazing to see the motivation that the girls have
Yeah.
and the
Exactly.
strength that they have.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of wanted to focus more on some of these visits and some of the work we do, maybe in the future episodes. But if you are a person who are interested to join us of any of these trips and you want to get more information of how to be a part of this, how to be a volunteer in any of these future events, please reach out to us and I can provide more information for you. It's such a life-changing experience to be able to come and see these women and see how powerful, strong, resilient, and intelligent they are. And the only thing that is missing are opportunities. And by providing opportunities, they can excel and live a better life. So you need to come see it for yourself and get inspired and share it with the rest of the world.
Yes. And I vouch for that because it happened to me. I fell in love with the work that you do through this organization and with the girls, with every single one of them. So in the next episode, we will talk about your work at Climb Your Everest and open up your visits to Nepal a little bit more.
Yeah, sounds good. At Climb Your Everest, our mission is to provide access to education and resources to marginalized women so that they can gain the skills and knowledge they need to succeed in their lives and communities. But we can't do it without your help. 100% of your donation is tax deductible and will go directly towards funding our programs, including scholarships, educational material, and mentorship. So please visit our website, climbYourEverest.org, and make a donation today. Every little bit helps. It costs $25 to sponsor one girl to participate in empowerment workshops for a month. If you are interested, please contact me at sarah@climbYourEverest.org. And together, we can empower marginalized women to climb their own personal Everest. Thank you for your support.